All right, my friends, what is happening? Yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the Real Deal, North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. Wasn't I gonna do anything live early tonight? Well, we were gonna record our gig, but that got canceled due to the rain. But I figure, well, you know what? Since I got a good response with the BC Rich, a good friend of ours up north, that's up in Tampa area, north in Florida, Jason Stallworth made a comment on one of my last live streams and likes the BC Rich. Yeah, I know it's a pointy guitar, Jason, if you see this, and I'm like you. I mean, I do like Explorers and Vs, but I also like more the traditional shaped guitars. But yeah, this goes back to 2000. So we've had this guitar 24 years, and actually my wife bought the bass for herself, which I got on stores here. About a few months before we bought this guitar, so it's a great guitar. What you heard there was the Roland GR55. Let me just grab this real quick. This happens to be a little picture. One of my students, her name is Nova. I think she's now she's in 5th grade. She gave that to me last year, and I thought that was really cool. Let's see. I'm gonna unplug this. I got my phone on the charger. We are going to do this. We'll do that. Yep, that's it right there, my friends. The GR55 guitar synth. And we've had that since at least 2014. maybe even before. I think 2014, around that time. As we do have the GR33, but one of the outputs messed up on it, so this was on sale. Actually, yeah, this was on sale for the whole package deal, and we got it for just under $1,000 with the GK pick. Now this is not the GK pickup that came with the 55. This came with the 33. The one that came with the 55, I have it on the Breedlove acoustic, so it's more of a flat. This is called the GK2A pickup. The other one is called the GK3A pickup, and it takes the 13-pin cord. Now this cord, this one happens to be a 10-foot. We have, I think we had a 50-foot. Yeah, somewhere in here we have a 50-foot. Maybe this is a 15, and then we got the 50-foot. Last time we bought a 15 or 10, I can't remember exactly. Maybe it's 10 feet. The last time let's say it's 10 feet. The last time we bought one, before this one, we paid $30. When we bought this one, about maybe a year ago, whatever, it was $65. And so the price goes up on these things, man. They're really delicate. We really don't. This now gets more in studio use. I think we'll take the synth out when we're indoors and it's more upscale, or more of a indoor, more controlled environment. I used to take this out on some of the outdoor gigs, and then the way the weather is down here, man, it's brutal on the gear, and this thing's expensive, and it's got some really good sounds in there, so I really don't want to mess it up. So yeah, it's a great little thing. Now I'm going. What you heard with the distortion is directly from the guitar synth, and it's not. I'm bypassing the guitar. I'm not using. So it's the pickup here, right there, and the controller. So it's. I do remember Roland Boss came out with a series of their pedals. They had a distortion pedal. They had, I think, a modulating pedal, maybe a delay pedal, where you had to use the 13-pin cord. They were experimenting with this, and it was a kind of a cool idea. But the problem is these cords are real sensitive, and if you get one pin, there's 13 pins, one pin breaks, or there's wires in there, that means that one of the pickups, saddle pickups, went out. That means one of the strings is not going to be picked up. So I know the newer synths is now labeled under the Boss. Now they do have one that will have the pickup, the GK pickup. I forget, it's a bigger one, but the one prior to that came out, that's maybe the 300, does not need a special pickup, so you could go with a 1/4 inch. Kind of similar to the idea that with the SY1 synth pedal that I'm using, and I do know they have a SY2 that's more of the 3-button. They could do a little bit more. Or maybe it's a 2-button. Anyways, you don't need the GK pickup on that, but this one you do, because some of the synth sounds, for whatever reason, maybe it just cannot read 1/4 inch. I really don't know, but whatever, it works. It still works great. And like for here, well, it's brass. Here it's supposed to be nylon string with guitar with strings. If I get in and start tweaking things on the synth pad, and where on this pedal where I get into the guitar where I can kind of EQ it more, then I'll do that. But what this is, it's trying to simulate. Let me put a little bit of reverb here. I'm going direct into the Roland. It's trying to simulate a nylon string electric acoustic. It doesn't exactly sound exactly like one, because with my Cordoba I could definitely tell, but for what it's doing, it's pretty good. But when you add the strings behind it, it's nice. But you just have to balance things out with this thing, that's all. still working on getting used to this little uh, point 88 millimeter. If it doesn't work, I just go with a 1 millimeter. But I think the days of using the 1.5 might be a little bit older. Might be over because what I've noticed with this pick and doing my drill exercises, I don't get any pains right here. I've been lately been getting a little bit of what they call tennis elbow here, and I know it was due to the fact that maybe I'm pushing resistance against resistance. I've been pushing. I have to start facing the fact that I am getting older, and I just have to just go with that flow, and then start to develop into the next phase of life and start to work with that. I think that's a good thing to do. I do a lot of working with it because, .88 is a lot more flappier than a 1.5. Also help stop breaking strings. Yeah, I definitely got to put some strings on this. It's been a while. But it's a great guitar, man. This thing's great. So, but I wanted to jump on real quick. I'm not gonna be on. Maybe I'll be on another, maybe 15 minutes or so. Uh, but I've been seeing a series of these videos pop up. I hope everyone's doing well out there. John Dawson, what's happening? Old Man Dan, what's happening, brother? Yeah, John, I wasn't gonna go live, but I thought, well, let me pop on and real quick, and I have the other gear basically packed in the car, and because tomorrow we still have a gig. Today's gig got canceled due to the rain. And, this is the problem we have down, especially this time of year. We're heading into, well, we are in our hurricane season down here, and we are also, thank God hurricane season has not been bad. Thank God, boy. I tell you, we don't need any more destruction, man. Wow. That is for sure. Yeah, Old Man Dan, I'm glad that you're on, man. The title of the video, hopefully it came out right. Because, now with YouTube, you got to put the camera sideways. You got to, for at least on my phone, I got to go into a setting, have it horizontal as opposed to vertical. And when I do that, the type's real small. Everything's just all jacked up, man, It changes once again, my friends. See, that's why I don't rely on this technology. Who knows? Tomorrow morning I'll wake up and maybe it'll be upside down. I gotta flip it around, Get into settings again. Or maybe I'll have to switch to negative. I mean, this is whacked, man. This is absolutely whacked. I don't know, man. I feel sorry for people who invested in a lot of money on expensive cameras and computers just to do YouTube. Now, I used to do graphic arts when I was in high school, and I loved it. And we had a dark room developing the film for the press, the offset printing presses, and that, burn the plates and all that. So I mean, it. I could see if I were to get interested in it, I could see where I would pick up and then do the research. It's always been my issue with this technology. By the time I get to point A, and it's not a matter of can I learn this stuff. It switches and there's no notification. Then I gotta go on a goose chase. Well, what happened? What switched? Something happened. It's like, why, man? Why do you do this? No notifications. Just switch. Surprise. Good luck. But as the title implies, and I'm gonna get into this real quick. Mostly with your artists I've been seeing. People who either do illustration or just art in general, paintings and drawings, and there's some great people out there, man. I tell you, it's been very inspiring for me, because when I was going through the AFib thing, I'm gonna turn this reverb off here. When I was going through all that, I needed to find something that was gonna help keep me calm, because that was my issue. And I mean, it wasn't like excited, but my heart was racing, and I needed that to, things that were calm. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to, do more melody than shred on, man. I could play faster than you and all of that. I overworked myself, and I pushed myself past limits, and it became to a point for me personally that, you know, that and fasting before the colonoscopy that I was supposed to take over the Christmas break, and I went over the board with the fasting, and it started. Started it up, but I've had this happen once before, and I didn't understand exactly what it was. Thank God that it did happen, and I was sitting at the doctor's office, and they had to take me over to emergency, and to explain what everything was going on. And I had to go through a heart monitor. I had to wear a heart monitor for 2 weeks. I had to go through the echo, do an echo test. I had to go in that machine, and they put some fluid in you, and it like kind of goes through your body to see if you have any clogged arteries. I don't have any of that, but it was a good thing that I did go through that, so I could see where I'm at now, so I could see that, okay, since this, and my doctor told me this, you're out of the woods there, but you're not really out of the woods, because it's what you decide to do could push you back into it. You see what I mean? And part of it is your diet. The other part of it is your activity. And only one other doctor understood what I was talking about by being a musician and constantly feeling like you got to be on all the time, ready. You never know when the phone call is going to come. You got to be on, ready all the time. That means even with my speed, with my accuracy, with my this, go, 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 on 24/7. And we're human beings. And as we age, of course, I like to think I'm 20, but I'm not. I'm not old. I'm 6. I'll be 61 in November. But I have to start understanding for myself that I'm going through changes in life, and it's called the cycle of life, the phases of life. So that being said, one doctor understood what I was talking about with sitting down with a metronome and 150 beats starting out doing so that every time I play something, it's constant, like well, I'm constantly, at that peak threshold, where I could just tear it up all the time. The problem is when you work, and ask anyone, if you ever watch your musicians, classical violins and cello, when they warm up, they always do things at slow, at a very slow and controlled pace, because that is the secret of building accuracy, and it's actually the secret of building speed. And I had done that for, oh my God, decades, since the summer of 1981. Worked on these exercises and keep them, and always trying to maintain my sense of musical quality. But the fact is, I would listen to metronomes. I'd push, 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 and I feel right now that I had achieved the goals that I had wanted to achieve as a player. And now I could say, you know what? Let me play something that also interests me. So you lose some fan. This happens with a lot of people. I give you two artists that are very well known that went through this kind of a phase. One is the drummer from Rush, Neil Peart. I remember reading an article where he was reinventing his playing, and it was tough because after decades of doing what he's done with Rush, and he was still doing it when, and like I said, it's the only band he's been in. I mean, for the last 30+ years. But in the process of them touring and recording, he reinvented his playing, his whole technique, and of course, it took wood shedding while still playing what you used to play and trying to make this transition into now your new form of playing. It takes time, man. It takes a lot of time. So he did that and he achieved it. And one of my favorite guitarists, the guy that influenced me most, is Al Di Meola. All the phases he went through of playing and writing and composing, and And he actually, about a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago, in one of his performances, started having a heart attack right on stage, and then went to the hospital. And he kind of talked about it a little bit. Um, like one of the videos of his live concert, he talked about it a little bit, and you know, you start realizing that you're not superhuman, man. You are human, but you're not superhuman. And everyone has their limitations and their points and things of that nature. So just go with that flow. But I remember I said this before. I had a cassette tape where I recorded myself. 1985. That's when I had my Ibanez Destroyer. And man, I got so fast. I couldn't believe when I listened to the playback that was actually me playing it. It got very fast, very accurate, just like what you're hearing a lot of these people play today. I mean, but back then, I could not believe I got to that level. But what was going on was I was concentrating so much on that I kind of took my eye off the ball of the my phrasing and sounding musical. Because when I listened to the playback, it didn't take long for me to realize that there's something missing here, and it's impressive, but there's something missing, and it was playing melodies and letting whole notes ring out and playing with dynamics and uh, you know learning that there's different speeds. They all fit. They all have a purpose. So that's when I realized, what? If I want to be the fastest gun in the West, it's going to be a never ending and a constant ongoing thing, because then it means I'm putting myself in the category of who's out there faster than me right now. Okay, let me get out the metronome and I'm gonna work on. I mean, I know the way to do it because I've done it before. But I also do classical and flamenco guitar. So with my finger picking and my jazz playing and that, it's not one dimensional. There's a bigger picture there. So that's why I personally went back to doing what I do. And I know some people might not like it, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. You win some, you lose some, and that is how life really is. And I don't take that personal. I don't let that bother me. And hopefully other people shouldn't either. But when I started seeing some of these videos, I mean, within the last few days popping up, and it's a lot of these ladies talking about why they're giving up on their art career, and they're not giving up on creating art. They're just giving up on pushing so much pressure on it being their main source of income and their full time. One lady, she said it got to the point where she didn't even like doing art anymore. And it's the same thing that happens with us musicians, you know. And she made this one comment that, well, if we get into doing something else, of course, artistically, but for a little while there, she had these commissions she had to do, and she had to do some of the more. She was more into illustrating, and I guess when she was younger, she just loved to do illustrating art, and that was kind of a passion of hers, and it was very therapeutical, very helpful. But when she made it her full time job, that's when she realized. I guess in 2023, this last year, she lost her job, and she decided to go all gung ho 100% into illustrating art. And she did, and then she started experiencing a burnout. Now, there was another gal, I forget her channel, what her name is. The one I'm talking about now, I think her channel name is Art by Vica, Vica, because her name is Victoria. And I watch a lot of these people that draw and paint and sketch. Got this one girl, Krista Irene Art, and she's real good. She's fast what she does, and she doesn't worry about. I guess in a world of art, you got a color wheel. She doesn't worry about any of that. She just does what she really likes, and there's something very strong statement right there, because as musicians, I say we paint pictures with sound. Now I've been getting back into art again because it's been helping me, and it's like I used to draw when I was just a little kid, and then once I got into music, it's like everything changed for me. And I can honestly say, October next month, it'll be 50 years ago that I started playing guitar. So I could kind of relate to what some of these people were saying when they get the burnout sensation so much that they kind of lost the love for it, because now they're trying to make a career out of it, and now it's like they're being forced to do it. Whereas when they did it just for the pleasure of it, they were able to turn it on and turn it off when they wanted to, and they had the freedom. As a musician, if you go full time, and I'll tell you what, Deb and I've done that. We were full time for about 7 years, man, and we were very blessed that we were able to do it off of our music. But there were times we had to, do some covers and tributes and all that. But we were able to sell merchandise. Now people, they don't buy anything anymore; they just get everything for free. So a little tough now. And when you put all that pressure on something that people are expecting to get it for free or for very, very little, and it could be putting a lot of stress on you to pay your bills and even try to get ahead in life. And one thing you have to realize is that your vehicle is your biggest expense outside your house, of course, but your vehicle is your biggest expense, man. If that's not taken care of, man, you ain't going anywhere. So, it's something you got to really think about. But sometimes you just need to take that break from it before you throw in the towel and 100% quit. Just take a little bit of a break, because you're going to miss it. If you're going to miss playing. Now, some people will walk away from it 100% as far as performing and, maybe trying to put stuff up there for licensing and that, just get frustrated. But then they'll still play because they do love to play. And if you fall in that category, then by all means do that. It's more than okay. It's actually healthy for you because whatever your situation is. When you try to force things and you're trying to force it and force it and force it, and then now you're getting worried, you're not seeing the results. This is another thing that happens. When you decide to, let's say, leave music, and let's say you want to get into doing voiceover, or let's say photography, or art, whatever it is you want to do, what could happen, and I thought about this, so I'm not the only one that thought this, you know what I mean, is that do you want, once again, to invest time and money to perfect something else when the last time you spent time and money on something, it really didn't net you that much? You didn't get as far as you wanted to go. And a lot of times that's what stops people from going on to the next, journey into whatever else they might think they want to do. And I can understand that. I mean, I'm very appreciative and very grateful for the things we've accomplished because we've been to places I never in a million years thought we'd ever be. My success for music was a different road in music other than what the norm is, making it and making all these records and being on these big stages and these big tours and that. My success of making it was a lot of the corporate world, getting hired, but still getting hired doing my own music and still doing the rock and metal gigs that I would do and my fusion gigs. So when I perform, I bring that mindset of where I wanted to go, but I bring it at this point because it's such a big part of me. When I started playing live, it was 50 years ago, right when I started playing guitar. Boom, in the assembly hall, and there it is, and me and my friends were having fun, people watching us. So, that was our excitement. And again, going through the 80s, you know, and being in different bands, and you get the bug, hey man, this would be really cool to make this a full time thing. You get caught up on that chase, and that part of it is where it's like kind of disappointing because when you invest all the time and money on that and nothing really happens, it's like, do I want to invest my time and money in something else and have the same results as the music? Now, see, what I've been very blessed with is that when I met my wife and she saw that I'm playing all these different styles of music, especially with the classical and the flamenco and the jazz fusion, especially with the classical guitar. I'll never forget a lot of my friends when we were developing our speed techniques. One of my friend Yvonne used to tell my other friend Andy, he goes, "Hey man, well, one thing with Dave, if he really develops that, I mean, he already has it. But if you were to sit down and really pursue it, man, he could make a lot of money playing like that. It's not popular in the rock world, maybe. Well, it got popular in the metal world in the 80s because everybody wanted to build on the technique. That's what was going on. It might not be popular, by today's standards. Because, back in the 80s, you still had pop music. And you had people that, if you don't sing, it's not music. Well, it really is music. It's 100% music. But in their minds, if it's not a favorite song they heard, they don't understand it. But see, you cannot you cannot think those are the only people out there. There's a lot of them out there because they get brainwashed by radio, but they're not the only people out there. And once you find these other people who share the same interests as you, it kind of opens up these doors, and not just opens those doors, of opportunity to perform, but also emotionally and spiritually because you're with the same like-minded people. And when you're around those like-minded people, your mindset is elevated to that because now you know that world. You always knew that world existed, but you just couldn't find the people. You just thought it was just something you read about, or imagined, you know. But they do exist. But so that gave us our success, and because I had such a strong interest in that world of classical guitar and jazz and all that, it didn't bother me, you know, that I could also do that, and maybe I'm not performing, all these metal shows. We've done a lot of metal shows, but no, not like some of them other friends have done, you know. But they've only stayed in the metal world, you know. You find your niches and you find what you really do like, and as you start getting older, sooner or later you're gonna come to that point where, but I like doing this, you know. So what if I'm not the most popular here, there, or on YouTube or Instagram or wherever you're at? But I like it. Once you could get rid of that rat race, the amount of freedom you start feeling, it's priceless, man. It really is priceless. Deb and I, we were talking about, because tonight's gig got canceled because of the rain, and we both said, basically at the same time, thank God we're not relying on this anymore as our sole source of income, because that's when the panic button hits. Oh my God, now what? We lost this much money. Or you get these people that they get together, and they'll get together if their heart's not into this, whether it's a cover band or a tribute band, then it's gonna be something to this effect. They get into doing the cover/tribute band for the money. Now the people who are in it because they love it, you're exempt. That's not referring to any of you out there. But for the people who are trying to make a fast buck, I guess it can really work fine for them because there's no emotional, you know, uh, tug of war between I'm a creative person, but yeah, I gotta do these covers. I really don't like these kind of songs, but I gotta play them. It's better than a day job. But then when you see some of these people and they say that, you get together at the table. Band gets together, and there's a song list. And what do you think about this song? What do you think about that? Yeah, that's a good song. Did you really like that? No, I hate that song, man. Oh, I hate that song. But it's a good song. When you have to convince yourself to do something, chances are you really don't want to do it. You're trying to convince yourself. So, and then what happens is, and I ran into a few people down here who told me this. Yeah, but at least I'm playing in a band. At least I'm doing this. At least I'm doing that. Yeah, but okay, that's cool, and it is fun, and I'll give you that. Yeah, at least that. But when you sit down, do you ever feel like, are you looking forward for your next gig, or is it just you feel like, man, I gotta do another show? I really don't like these songs. Man, I like to have the day off. I like to have the day off and then go in my room and, man, I started coming up with this riff, and I want to see if I can record it, but I can't do it because I don't have the time because I gotta learn this other song to play at the gig for next week. You see what I mean? When it starts to become that type of routine, and maybe you need to walk away from it and just take a little bit of a break. Then you don't have to quit unless you really feel that you're just so burnt out. If you get to that point and you feel that you need to walk away from it, then maybe later down the road you come back to it. It's not only okay to do that, for you personally, that's the best thing to do. that's the most healthiest thing to do. Because now you've reached a point where you're stressed out, you're not happy, and if it starts to bring worries on you, now there's a problem. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Um, if you allow yourself to get so sick from worry, it happens. It affects your health. If you allow yourself to get so sick because you're worrying, you get so sick to a point now it's physically affecting you. Now, when you try to go out and just get a part-time job, you might not be able to be healthy enough to work. I remember when I was doing the NEMT driving gig, non-emergency medical transportation. That's what NEMT stands for, non-emergency medical transportation. I take these people to dialysis, the DaVita dialysis we have down here. And I had quite a few people tell me in our conversation on our way to dialysis, we have the small talk conversation, and some of these people would tell me, man, what I would give just to be able to sit in the driver's seat just to go to work, but I can't because I'm sick. One guy was younger than me. He worked in IT. He worked himself to the point where he got sick. He said, now that's the bad side of, when you're overworking something. He said, however, that's just an IT. And if I had a chance to do what you're doing, just driving, I could do that all day long. That would be a great job to have, man, because I kind of like it. But he said, but I can't because I'm too sick. So, likewise, you do something too much and you worry so much to the point where it gets you sick. Now you can't do something to maybe have a side gig to help float your art, your music, your voice, whatever it is you're doing. Now it's like, oh man, what did I do? So when I see people say this and they put these videos up saying that they're quitting this or they're quitting that, chances are they're walking away. But I could understand their frustration. I could definitely understand their frustration. And sometimes walking away is the best thing to do. It really is, because you got to hit a reset button. One of the things that this one girl said, she had like five mistakes she made. One of them was not taking a break. She pushed, push, 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 push. And sometimes I feel like that because I push, 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 push. I do my 3-hour gig straight through because I'm so used to doing that. Except when I was at the Chuck's house, was it last Saturday? I took a break to get something to eat before everyone else. He said, man, grab it while it's here, man, because when it's gone, it's gone. I'm like, damn, I'm feeling a little bit hungry, And then I got talking with people, and I like that. And had to finish off the set. But, you get through things. But if you ever need to take a break from something, or even if you feel like, you need to throw in the towel, it's not only there's nothing wrong with it, it's not only it's okay. If that is the situation you're in, it's going to be more healthier for you to do that. And then, time's going to pass, then you can look back and you say, man, that's the best thing I did to walk away from it, man. I don't get that frustration, I don't have that rat race, I don't have to worry about it. And then later on, some people, they'll sell all their gear, man. And then later on, they start buying gear back because they missed it for themselves. There's an old saying, the dream sometimes better than the reality. And that, a lot of times, is true. And, of course, it's how your output is and, who you're hooked up with and that. For us, the dream was better than that reality. However, the realities that we've experienced was better than any dream I ever thought, because I never thought that world really existed. I had an idea, but it was not 100% until we were introduced to it and started, the for hire gigs, corporate gigs, except they like your music. So it's like you're the star or you're the backing. It's like this. if anyone's gone to maybe a play where they have the live band playing, or they used to have the circus with live musicians. So I remember going to a circus years ago and watching the drummer. He had this killer, man, killer drummer. I was watching him the whole time. I didn't care what the clowns were doing. I was watching the drummer, man. He was awesome. He got a chance to rock out, be part of the show, although he was the backdrop to a main show, but he was able to do what he wanted. And that's kind of what we were able to do with the corporate gigs. Now, we do have a for hire gig. I think it's the end of this month. And a lot of people, these people that hire me, that they like the jazzy stuff that I'm doing, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win for me because I enjoy it. I'm not sacrificing something and doing something I really don't like. I'm actually doing something that I do like. It just happens to be different. It's not for everybody, but for those who enjoy it, hey man, I appreciate it. For me personally, selling out would be singing and playing songs I don't like to listen to. Yeah, but you can play all the clubs. If that's what I have to do to play at those clubs, then I don't want to play at those clubs because I know exactly what the clientele is going to be like. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you don't do what they want, they're the puppet masters. Look out, man. It's not going to be a good night. Because some of these people are going to get too drunk and they're going to start issues. And it's sad. It's real sad because a lot of the club owners allow that because, all right, well, at least we're selling liquor, when they're in business to sell. I understand that, but they'll do it at the expense of, they'll say they have live music, but they just have a live jukebox, let's say. And if you enjoy it, that's great because you're in a different category. Absolutely, 100%, you'd go for it because that's your love. But when you feel you got to fake it, watch and see how long it takes before you hit a burnout. And you'll be like, oh man, maybe I ought to quit. Maybe I ought to this. And just take some time off. So just remember that, guys and gals out there. If you need to take a break, go ahead. And whether it's from social media, whether it's from playing live or whatever it is, take that because, if you're starting to feel something like a burnout and you're pushing yourself, it's only going to go from bad to worse. Chances are it'll go from bad to worse. And then you'll be like, oh man, I have to say, I'm done. And don't let anyone call you a quitter, baby, crybaby, wimp, ha ha. Don't listen to those people because chances are those same people that want to insult you are the same people that never done anything. They read about it, they saw other people do it, but they themselves never done it. Because if they did, they would understand what you're going through. See? So, always remember that, guys. I mean, I would see good people, get frustrated with this YouTube. And I understand the frustration because it was an opportunity for them to make a buck. And I personally would never rely on it 100%. No way, because I see the way it changes so much. And when something's constantly changing, you can't. Who you call? Is there one person that's running the whole show and you'd say, "Hey, man, we gotta sit down and have a talk"? No, there isn't. And you got algorithms, you got this, you got that, and that. You know what? When I watch some of these videos and I see the expression of the people's faces as they're describing what they're going through, I could see the hurt in their eyes. And it's sad to see that. And in my opinion, the solution is, man, you walk away from that. When you walk away from something, it goes away. It starts to fade away. And especially if you're the type of person that, is a very proactive person, and you start getting involved in something, or you start getting involved in just learning how to do therapy to, let the mind and body rest. All those, it just takes a little time, but they start to fade away. And then, especially if you're picking up an interest on something else and you're learning on something, when your mind is constantly being occupied, it's what you're doing is you're pushing old information out, new information comes in, and those become a memory. And then to the point where even those emotions that you had tied to that become like a distant memory. It doesn't even phase you. It doesn't even phase you. The main thing that happens with people, it's money. If you didn't have to rely on money, then you'd be able to do whatever you want. You ask anybody. There's a few people that even said, if I didn't have to rely on this a month for money, and if I were going to call the shots and do what I want, this is the kind of music I would play. Boom, right there, they just said it. One guy, he likes doing what's called they call it yacht rock, but more of like the fusion stuff, like what I'm doing. And I think he was going to try to form a band. And it's hard finding musicians, and I get it. And some people they walk away from that, and because it gets frustrating, and 100%. Some people they don't want to do tracks or live looping. I get that. But if you're kind of like on the fence with that, and you're like, geez, I wonder what would happen if I tried it, because I kind of like doing it in my room here and doing YouTube videos. Maybe I could make a couple of bucks. Go ahead. All people are gonna say is no. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna run into all kind of people out there, and I guarantee there's gonna be someone that's gonna say, I like what you're doing. And then I got friends that we also like that. Hey, you do this so well. We're gonna have we're gonna host a private party. We might go to a banquet hall or country club, and we'll think about hiring some entertainment. And man, what you just played would fit the bill. Would you want to come and play? Maybe an hour or two. Just tell me what you would charge, and boom, there you go. The exciting thing with that is when they come up to you and they tell you they like what you're doing and you're playing your own music, that says it all right there. So don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything with your own music. Just be prepared. It might not be as much as if you're doing something popular. But if you don't like doing anything that's popular, because you just, like myself, I'm not a big fan of some of this stuff. I respect it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and start learning to play it, because I just don't like it. I mean, it's just that simple. Well, then you don't play it. So what? That's okay. You go do it. I told this one girl, she's over here telling me this, and I said, you know what? If you like it, you do it. Do you like what I'm doing? No, I really don't like that. Well, why not? See, I don't make a big deal about it. I don't understand these people. I don't sing, and I'm not big on some of the popular stuff. I respect it, but that's not for me. So why do you want to make it for me? Yeah, but you got to do that. You have to do it. You got to play for the people. No, you don't. When I hear people tell me it's all about you playing for the people, giving the people what they want, that is a part of it. I will agree, but not 100%, because you're the one playing it. And if you look like you don't like what you're playing, I don't care how perfect you play it. They're gonna catch. Usually, people. I mean, they could tell if your heart's not into something, and they're gonna say, "Man, you look like you don't like what you're doing." It's okay. I guess you're all right. I don't know. And that's gonna be their response. And then you're gonna feel really bad that you put all this time in just to please that person, and they don't even really like what you're doing. But you're playing their favorite song, but it's the way you're going about it. There's no authenticity. You're not really into it. Yeah, but I don't like the song. Well, then don't play it. You know. And then they turn around and they make you feel like you're a loser because you didn't, follow that format. And then, you know, you're teaching or you're working, you're 9 to 5, whatever. So you're not the loser. I can tell you right now, you got other money coming in. You got more money than that person. I can tell you that right now. Because one way, you know how you prove this? Next time someone tries to tell you this, and they're playing in a band, and you're not playing in a band as much, but you have your 9 to 5, and they're doing that full time, and they're bragging about it, and they do it to the point where they're trying to put you down. Ask them this question: Hey, could you go out and buy a car right now? You said your car was kind of like, man, it's, you know what you got to do, man. You can't work on it anymore. So could you go out and buy a car right now? Well, yeah, that says it all right there. But you with the 9 to 5, you can, because when you go get the loan, you got a proof of income. You come in saying you're playing a cover band at a place that maybe next month turns into a sports bar, and guess what? There went your gig. There went your gig. There went your income. You can't come. I can't find that. You need a co-signer, man. Matter of fact, you may be 2 or 3 co-signers, man. Because what you're doing is so unstable. It's, man, sorry. That's the way it is. So next time someone tries to, say that to you, just come back with that. Hopefully they got a whole boatload of money that they could buy it outright. They go to the Toyota dealer, they go to Ford, they go to Chevy, and I'm gonna buy that Ford F. I want to buy the Ford F 450 or 550 dually with the diesel. Hmm? Oh man, you're way over 100 grand. So you got the money. Even your down payment on something like that could be like 20 grand, maybe 30 grand. Could you do that? Nope. All right. That says it all right there. So, anyways, I guess really the point is you know, do what you feel is best for you because you're the one that is going through whatever you happen to be going through. So if you need to take a break, go and take a break. If you feel like this is it, you need to quit, then go ahead, man. You put your time in, right? Anyways, if not, take a break, come back to it with a refreshed, mind, a refreshed heart, and learn to enjoy it. You know, I always say we're the full-time musicians with the part-time driving gig, and we love it. Bills are paid. We could sleep at night. Don't have to chase anybody and borrow money from people. Couch surfing. Hey, can I crash at your place? You got your own place. Not really. Oh, you thought you're making all this money. Guitars in the pawn shop. You gotta borrow your friend's stuff. You see, I know what's going on out there because I'm out there. And things are very at an interesting point right now. So when the money's kind of short at this end of the spectrum, then you go to the other end of the spectrum, you know, learn how to do something and make your money there. And then all that extra money that you make, you could pump back into here and bring this back to life. I've always said this, and I'll always continue to say this. You want to do something with your music, and the clubs are not giving you any of this, that, or the other. Oh, no, you gotta play covers. Oh, you gotta sing. You gotta do this, and you just can't stand that. Then work your 9 to 5, save that money, and then you find the places. They have a banquet room, a country club, wherever you can rent out. Talk with them. You'd be surprised, and say, man, I want to put together a metal fest. I want to put together a jazz fest. I want a performance. And I think I could do this because I used to play when I was younger and whatever the case might be. I'm gonna tell you right now, no one's gonna turn your money away. You'll find out where you're at, and but if that's your passion, you still like to perform. You want to do it maybe once a year, twice a year, whatever you can afford to do. If that's your thing, go that route, man, and you will start building your reputation. How do you think some of these people? A lot of them will come from the cover bands, but a lot of them said, I'm going this way, man. I'm cutting the cover cord, and I'm going this way, and I'll do my show my way because it's my money. And sometimes it turns out real good. I'll just say this: even though it was a tribute act, and in between that tribute act, I was able to play my stuff, and it yielded us a lot of connections to get these other gigs because they liked what I was playing. But when we do the ticket sales, there are times we would sell 275 tickets at $35 a pop. Now you do the math. I didn't use any expensive gear, and it wasn't at it was not any known theaters, but we were able to start to build that reputation, and it worked. So that's what I mean. And I say that because I know there's people out there that would love what you do in your studio room, your bedroom, your practice room, when you're in that moment and you get that idea in your head, this is what I like to do in front of people. Then you know what? Build on that show, build a show around it. You could do an hour, maybe 90 minutes tops. It doesn't have to be long. 90 minutes with an intermission. And you know what? If you're old enough that you've had weddings or you've been to weddings and you're in a banquet hall and it's your friends, his friend's wife is or friend's daughter is getting married. I mean, how much does this room cost you? About $6 grand. Okay, I know I can't come over tomorrow, but I know $6 grand is not really a lot of money if I save up for it. I was gonna buy the R9 guitar. I already have an R9. I want the brown sunburst, tobacco sunburst. I have a cherry sunburst. I want the tobacco sunburst. I'm looking about $9,500 for it, but I really don't think I need that. I would like to go out and play, and I to put my show together. And I got this PA system. It's paid for. It's already bought. Put your show together, man. And you get like your liability insurance if they ask for it, and start talking to people. You'd be real surprised. What stopped us from doing our guitar shows, and this was we had this about 4 years ago. Down here with the ticket sales is that COVID thing, put everyone in lockdown. Literally, that week we had sold tickets, and literally that week we had to refund them because everything went into lockdown. And people were starting to recover, and we were recovering from that. And then we started to analyze everything and evaluate and thought, well, maybe, and look at the pricing because, see, when things went into lockdown, they lost money. So now the next time you go to rent that room, the price went up because it sat dormant and they need to recover all that money. Now you put into the factor, that was 2000, year 2000, 2022, 2020. 2022, here comes Hurricane Ian. Bam, total destruction. So it put a lot of damper on us. We lost 75% of places to play at. And then, of course, the places you see me play now, a lot of them is repeats. But we had a lot more places to play at. And, man, it's just taken a long time to come back. So you have to kind of evaluate where you're at, what you want to do, and go from there, but do it sensible. And everyone's different, so there's no comparison really. There's no competition. Just do what's gonna work for you guys, and you'll win. Okay, my friends. I hope this has been a little bit helpful. I just felt the need to say something about it. I see expression on some of these people's faces like, man, I could tell it's like really bothering them. We're all in the same boat. Sometimes that, hey man, don't worry about it. I'm working too, just like you are. Just got a different type of, I got a driving gig. I love it, and I do my music, and I love it too. And we could say we lived off it because we have, and we've traveled. So we know what it is. It's the financial roller coaster. And just, if you don't want to be out in the streets, you have to come to terms to that and do what you need to do to prevent yourself being out in the streets. And then do your music the way you want to do it. And don't listen to people that try to tell you, no, don't listen to him. You don't have to listen to me. You find out for yourself. Anyways, guys, I hope this has been helpful. We are scheduled to play tomorrow. We're at Miramar. I think we're doing 4 to 7. We'll be a little bit under an overhang. So if it does rain, I think we'll be all right. But we're prepared to, throw the the tarp over the guitars. If see, this is what I mean. Down here, everything's outside. Why? I'm kind of reevaluating that one too, and see if we could plan out another ticket. We call them stage shows, and do our research again, and then go back to that. I think with the stage shows is we record them for our documentation, but we don't put it up on social media because the idea is to sell the tickets to get people to come out. I mean, that's kind of common sense. But anyways, tomorrow we're scheduled to play, and if you see us playing, then that means the show went on, right? Anyways, guys, I hope you have a great Friday evening, and we will see you tomorrow. I hope this has been very helpful. Remember, do what you need to do, but you're not a loser. Just always remember that. Don't let anyone say that to you. Okay? All right, guys. Until tomorrow, you have a great Friday. Stay strong, safe, and true. Rock on, and God bless. Thanks for watching.